Video games are one of the largest industries in the world right now. It is also a hugely diverse industry when it comes to what type of content it produces. You can relax after a really long day of work by playing one of the indie titles that has just come out, or you can go ahead and play a AAA shooter or RPG experience or even a sports games. There is a ton of things out there for you to take advantage of in the space. If you think of yourself as a gamer, or even just a casual hobbyist of the media, you should really be thinking about playing fighting games. Hello everybody, my name is Sebastian Quintanilla and welcome to another DashFight video, and today I really want to tell you why you might think you don't like fighting games, but you actually do. To start, let's be clear about something. You can enjoy fighting games without getting into the competitive side of these games at all. Obviously, we think getting involved in those communities is an incredible experience, and we're gonna try to convince you of that in a moment. But let's first look at all of the things that you can get out of fighting games just by playing through them casually. Gaming is its own culture, and even within it, it has subcultures. I know it may sound a little bit pretentious to say that a hobby has cultures, but think for a second about the common language, ideas, and expressions that you've seen while playing video games. Well, fighting games have a really strong sense of community, and even within it, it has an incredible amount of history and ideas behind it, whether it is on the games themselves or just the people that play them. It's very clear, if you spend any amount of time with these games, that the creators of the games thoroughly enjoy both their creations and how the community reacts to it. It is a symbiotic relationship, and it is one that has given us so many incredible games and franchise. Series like Mortal Kombat, which riff really hard on that 90s Hollywood nostalgia and the violence that those action movies were known for. Tekken has taken what is largely a Japanese Yakuza story and just added elements to it to turn it into a family drama with a little bit of an international spy story, a little bit of sci-fi, and even some capoeira. It is insane. These titles might not have the emotional heights of other genres like action-adventure or just flat action games, but if you love the campiness, you will love fighting games. It is literally what they are based off. Whether it is a cult classic like Killer Instinct or more contemporary material like Slap City, they all exude one thing: aesthetics. They can tell you a story without an outright single-player campaign, and when they do include one, you can bet your money that it is gonna be one that will either have you laughing your ass off at its dialogue or just really challenging, and there is no in between. And suppose you're at all thinking about looking into character design in the media. In that case, fighting games are a must piece of research, thanks to their massive amount of concept art and often lengthy lore, most of which is hidden away in the most secretive in-game menus, developers' interviews, and panels at conventions. Finally, if you're really into fan theories and just looking up characters and understanding them better, fighting games are fantastic for that. Oftentimes the characters will have lengthy stories, and given that all of the characters are generally the protagonist of their games, then you're looking at a lot of work that the developers had to do to give those characters their defining features. There is not a more extraordinary celebration of gaming in the fighting game scene than the Smash Bros. Franchise. Originally just Nintendo titles, it quickly became far more than that. A collection of childhood memories for players of all ages battling it out in the same stage. This is all to say that even if you never plan to connect with another human being, fighting games still provide a rather unique experience in gaming. From its self-contained stories to its cross-collaborations, from big AAA games to small indie titles, fighting games can and often are unique gaming experiences. Although you might have heard how close the FGC is, it really takes playing these games and engaging with those communities to understand why. In your small friends group, you might be able to be the best player, but as soon as you open up to the rest of the community, you get humbled a bit. But it is chasing those improvements match to match and talking with other players, understanding what are the things that you can do better that really warms you up as you realize that everybody is trying to get better and you are all working towards that same goal. On the smaller scale of competition, rank modes have this magical feeling of improvement that can really hook you in. Are there moments where you might feel like you're stagnating? Yes, of course, like in any other hobby. But the nature of the fighting games community means that you are only a click away from finding people who feel the same way, and from people who have broken that barrier already and continued to improve from there. So you can learn from what they did and improve yourself. Of course, beyond the rank ladder, there are tournaments. For the past 2 years, it has been mostly an online world. It should be pretty evident why, but the idea of competing with a group of your peers will never go away. And now that things are opening up again, you can be sure things will heat up again. These competitions are not just about who is better, but also how much better and how much has somebody improved over time. We're all constantly changing in our skill level, and tournaments are a fantastic way to put that to the test. Of all of those tournaments, the most common type is the locals. Small gatherings of people, or well, sometimes large gatherings of people, where they come together to compete. They will generally have small cash prizes, though sometimes you can see some bigger pools getting made, but the real value of all of those spaces is that these are all people that share the same excitement about fighting games that either you do or that you might end up doing. Okay. They are a little bit of a hard sell right now, particularly in some parts of the world, but they are an incredible tool, and it is such a system for tournaments and for a community that their value cannot be denied. And as soon as everything is over, hey, go ahead and jump into one of them, because I can personally guarantee you they are a fantastic experience. And well, you know, we're talking about the FGC, we're talking about the value of community and how hype those events can feel. We need to have, you know, that clip, the clip. So roll it, boys. Okay, I know it sounds bland and perhaps a little bit vague, but fighting games can promote what most people would call soft skills or intangibles. Going to college is obviously a great choice, but once you're part of the larger workforce, many things need to be done daily that you will need to quickly pick up on the job. All of those skills can generally be found in your hobbies, and fighting games, they are hobbies, and they also show you how to approach problems from different places. They might allow you to understand certain things in a different way, give you a new perspective. They all have the right ingredients to promote development of these skills. Even more so if you choose to become involved in the competitive communities. As a tournament organizer for your local group, you could be talking to a dozen or maybe hundreds of people, organizing them, understanding what is the best way to approach problems in logistics or just in human-to-human interaction. That is something that is legitimately valuable for many jobs. Okay, let's say that being a tournament organizer is not your thing. Totally fine. But what about if you try to analyze professional matchups? What about getting stats from those matches? What about interviewing players after their matches? Taking pictures, doing a podcast, knowing who is who and networking with people, or just sticking it to the game and modding the game or programming your own little fighting game that you're doing in your own time as a hobby. All of those things that fighting games might be able to pull for you, those are going to be skills that are going to help you not just in your job, but in so many other things. So come on, give it a try. It is legitimately worth for you to try it. In the end, fighting games will give you whatever you put in them. If you want to push yourself to become a better player, to beat your friends and the people in your region of the world, every hour of practice will yield results. If you're looking for a quick entertainment after a long day, it is gonna be there. If you want to boost your local scene by organizing or casting events, the FGC will be there too. Not playing fighting games is fine, but you should try, and with time and patience, you will be rewarded. I've been Sebastian Quintanilla for DashFight, and I hope from here on out you get to enjoy fighting games and the fighting game community. If you have, go ahead and tell us in the comments. We'd love to hear your experience with fighting games and its community and how far these games have come in over 20 years of history. Have a good one.